Yeah. Yeah,
Well, it's
he
a name
came
that
up in some of our
we
chats.
we definitely discussed John David Washington as well, but for a little bit later down the line. So
Well, that's funny you said a little bit later down the line. Obviously, we're getting into Julian Washington, and this was a character where LL Cool J had originally played the character. He was prior to this, he was in the movie Toys, Halloween, H2O, Deep Blue Sea, In Too Deep. So he had some acting experience going into this. He wasn't just going straight from rap to acting. And the thing about him, obviously, is he's very big and bulky, and kind of somebody who I felt like could push around Willie Beeman, and he does. And actually, they get a little fight in the shower. And I mentioned that to Jesse because Jesse also talked about John David Washington for this role, and I said, but I can't picture John David Washington beating up Michael B. Jordan, so as I can't kind of put him in that role. And I don't know, Jesse, if you want to take it from here, where we kind of discussed, or what direction we were looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we like to really push each other when it comes to these roles, whether it's when we're going against each other or in this awesome opportunity that we have to go against another podcast. We want to make sure we really give ourselves the best. And so I pushed for John David Washington, thinking that he has the frame, the football pedigree, really just the resume to be able to do this. And I think, he most recently did Tenet. So he's really getting on the big screen more often now. So I pushed it. And instead we ended up going with somebody that has I think a more intimidating physique, someone who could really play that role and who hasn't had much big screen presence yet, but he's done some smaller screen stuff for the CW. And he's on the Riverdale show as well as plays Black Lightning. And this is Jordan Calloway. I didn't know of him before. Even though I watched Riverdale a bit, I couldn't have, pictured him when I see his name. And maybe you guys will have to do a search for him. But I did a Google search. I think it was the third image I saw of Jordan Calloway with the shirt off, and I go, boom, there it is. That's our guy.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of Black Lightning before, but yeah, I hadn't thought about this guy, but he's certainly got like the physique for it, hasn't he?
Yeah, I gotta say I haven't seen anything of him, but definitely he has the right look for sure.
Yeah, and
How old is he? He looks quite young.
I think he's 26 or 27.
No,
so he's obviously
30, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he's going to be a little bit younger, maybe, than Willie Beeman. I know that's kind of a weird thing because Julian Washington was kind of felt like towards the twilight of his career, but also in the NFL, running backs are towards the twilight of their career, 27, 28. So,
yeah, I can see that.
We're trying to stretch.
Well, do you want to hear who we went for then?
Absolutely.
Now, this is someone that I heard you guys recast in another one of your podcasts. I'm just trying to think what role it was for when I was listening. But this is someone who's been around for, a little while now. He's been in some pretty big things. But, go on, David. Tell them who it is.
Yeah, I think
it was your shout.
What I really liked about the character Julian Washington is just that he is really cool. Like, he just looks calm and cool and relaxed. He walks into a room and he owns it, and he's wearing ridiculous sunglasses and he pulls them off or whatever. So that's kind of what I wanted to get. So we went for John Boyega, who I just think just oozes cool, to be honest.
Yeah, I like John Boyega. He was actually on my list as well. I had like a list of like 20 names, I think, for this role. And he was one of the names I had on the list. You guys mentioned he was in our Breakfast Club episode. We'd actually recasted him as the role of Andrew, the Emilio Estevez role, because I wanted a football player instead of a wrestler. And so we went. So we went with him. But he's definitely got the physique as well. I think that he's built. He could be intimidating. I know he's done a couple of other series. He did that movie Detroit, I think, so kind of more of a serious role than Star Wars.
Yeah. I think like he just, I feel like he could give that confidence that Julian Washington has to just be like just ordering around the quarterback. So yeah, that was kind of why I was drawn to him.
Oh, what did you think, Jesse, about John Boyega?
I like the pick a lot. Like you said, he was on your list, and he was one of the few names that I had really kind of rolled around in my brain before we had settled on our Jordan Calloway. But I think he certainly has the physique. He fits the age profile, and he's really climbing his ranks as far as, the cinematic world out there. I mean, after you get into a Star Wars film, you're really ready to start kind of branching out and getting into other things. You start to get more well-known. So I think he's definitely ready.
Now, something that I like to do is if there's an interesting fact about the film. So LL Cool J was originally cast as Willie Beeman, and then when they brought in Jamie Foxx, who of course had very little experience, he did In Living Color, he did a lot of smaller movies, and he was mostly a stand-up comedian. And they brought him in to be the Willie Beeman role. And I guess LL Cool J did not take lightly to that. And there was a lot of tension on the set. And I guess apparently that fight scene in the locker room, he actually did strike him. And Jamie Foxx wanted to file assault charges against him. Later on, LL Cool J came out with a rap song saying like a pussy like Jamie Foxx or something like that.
Oh, wow. Didn't know any of that. That's so
Full
cool.
circle.
Yeah, I could imagine that LL Cool J would have done a better song than Jamie Foxx. I mean, because that Willie Beeman song's painful, and
Jamie would get a better song than the Willie Beeman song.
Oh, the Any Given Sunday song that they play over the end credits is really terrible as well.
Yeah.
And that's Jamie Foxx, written by, produced by, sung by. Yeah, I think I would have preferred LL Cool J.
Not great.